Well, can you hear? Hello? You can hear. Follow that. If our future is about young people like that, what a good example here today, right? Fantastic. Already with the experience and the kind of voice and committed values that we in the Labour Party appreciate and brought up, didn't we? Now, I want to say a few words before Jeremy. I thought you'd all turn out for me. I've got to accept it's probably Jeremy. But you know, we've been there in this tour in the north, and we've been up in Scarborough. Anybody been to Scarborough? Well, I remember as I was my dad's union, they used to organise their conferences in Scarborough and in Bridlington. And I thought it was wonderful. But bloody hell, the sea's as cold as it ever was then when I went out to a kid to paddle in it. But you know what was significant and it's relevant today? Is there in that conference hall we saw that Labour made many decisions that made the Labour Party what it is today. Committed to the many, not the few, even decades ago. And you know, when we're looking at it today, we're back. If people say there's no difference, there's a manifesto. Just read the two. I can't get the blue one. It's not available. And anyway, it doesn't matter because she changes her mind within a few days of actually doing it. So you can't rely on what they put in paper. But it is important to know what's going on. And this is about the Labour Party committed to the values. I've got to tell you, Jess, a bit of weakness at one stage. When I saw there was a leak about Labour's manifesto and I read it, I thought, Christ, this is what we want. Exactly, isn't it? But you know, this was even better. It reflects all the values that I came into the Labour Party for the millions, not the few. For the many, not the few. And so, let me say to those people who have not yet registered, I don't think there's many here. Any of you not registered yet? Get that bugger out the crowd. Listen, get an iPad over to him. Get the iPad, let's have this man on the actual signal and vote him. And basically what we're doing today is taking across Labour's message. You know, I have never seen such a vicious press that we've seen in handling this man. He has suffered more from a press. And you might wonder, are the press impartial? Of course they're not bloody impartial. Is the Sun impartial? Is the Mail impartial? Is the Telegraph impartial? Of course they're bloody well not. But I'll tell you what's happening. How is it when Labour says you should cut electricity prices, all the press attacked it as Marxism? And all of a sudden she decided she's going to do it. And they didn't say anything in the press, did they? No, all of a sudden they shut up. The Daily Mail shut up. I wish it would happen more often, but not very often. But you know what's significant? If you look in their blue manifesto, you know what it says? They have agreed, you all remember the Leveson inquiry, I had my phone intact, Murdoch was listening one day. I hope he cut out all the expletives, but anyway, he was listening to me phone. And now he's coming back from Fox and he wants to buy the rest of Sky so he can turn it into a full propaganda. Now you might say, why are they acting now so viciously? And I might say to friends in the press, why is it you accept that the Tories say to you, stay in the room, don't question our leader, we'll give you one question as long as we can check it. What kind of accountability is that by the press? And that's what they're doing. Why? Because if you read that manifesto, it says what she couldn't get through Parliament, what Parliament had agreed, she's scrapping the old charter that Leveson recommended to make the press accountable for the things that they'd been doing. She's scrapping it. So that's the payoff for the press working for her now. So all of a sudden, we're back now to what is the thing that decides it. Manifesto. Is there any difference, you better say this right, between a Tory manifesto and a Labour one? Is it different? Bloody hell, I thought you, he was the father and Richard III here in front of you. I better be careful what I say to him. But basically, yes, there's a fundamental difference. It's not that we've decided to change the words. We've gone back to the old principles of Labour, of what we believed in. And I wish some of my colleagues had recognised that, but I won't say anything about that at the moment. But basically, there's a fundamental difference because it's something that we can campaign on that direction. So no longer is there no difference. There's a fundamental difference. And I tell you, when the Labour government in 1947, all the press were against them. The Tories were against us. And they all, doctors as well, when we brought in the National Health Service and the welfare, and we civilised the last half century of the 20th century. That's the difference. And that's where we are today. That's the kind of difference. No one can stay out of this election. You've got to be in it. This is the chance to make the difference for our pensioners, for our students, for the people in the poverty in this country. That's where we always stood, and we now call it for the many, not the few. For the many, again, come on. For the many, not the few. Fundamental to us that do it. Now, we've done that if you look in it. So if we've won the manifesto battle, and we have, we've been at these rallies, they support what we've written. I've got to tell you, I fought 11 elections. I can't always say every manifesto was like that. I can now. And the public have sassed it, right? And what you've found is they begin, look at her, Mrs. May. Oh, Jeremy don't like booing. You can boo for me, boo as much as you want for it. Like, he don't like it. He said don't get personal. I get bloody personal, I'll tell you. What she's wanting to do to our people is unacceptable. And why won't she debate with this man who can make the difference? Have you seen her on the telly when she launched it? She said, oh. And I can tell you, I practice in front of him better when you're doing a speech. Just watch her face. That's her. She's practiced it. She's a bloody fraud. Sorry, Jeremy, I know you don't like personal stuff. So, basically, this is the woman. If you're thinking you want to trust her, did you see Johnson on the telly this Sunday? Just trust her. Trust her? I wouldn't trust her with my bloody cat, for Christ's sake. But if you look, when you trust her, it's not, she says, please, I want to negotiate for you. I'm firm. I'm trust. She's bloody weak and wobbly. And she's weak and wobbly, and I'll tell you why. This is a woman who doesn't know what she's saying yesterday and what she'll keep today. It wasn't only in social she's changed her mind. It was also the same woman who said we will not have a general election before 2020. She broke that. This is a woman who said we don't believe in a minimum wage. She now does, and that was Labour's policy, right? This is a woman who says we'll get immigration down to 100,000. Well, it's in 2 manifestos and it's still 250,000 in time. She failed. It's promises not delivered on many, many things. So you can't rely on this strong, reliable woman. She's weak and wobbly, and the public are sassing it, right? So if we're now got comparisons, and I hear all the talk about policies, we won the policy battle. It's now down to leadership. We don't run away from that. We've won as much on it. Why? Because this man has shown honesty, he's shown integrity, and he still believes what he's always said in his life. And that's what the public want from our leaders. Somebody who believes in what they say. So to that extent, Jeremy, we're winning the manifesto. We're turning it around. I don't believe in the polls. I don't like them sometimes if they're saying it's right. But I don't. Why? Because you're the poll. There are thousands turning out for this man, turning out for Labour. That's the answer to all these focus polls or whatever they're called, right? What the public say and what they're doing. And this is the man suffered already the worst kind of attacks from the press than ever. But the public have sassed it. They've seen him. Give him a smile, Jeremy. Yeah, he's got a smile, you see. And the public is seeing this man's honest. He's got integrity. He's a leader. And perhaps some of our parliamentarians might recognise that in the future, but leaving that aside for the moment, right? So, I don't like this woman, you've gathered it, right? She's not reliable, she can't be trusted, she doesn't know what she's doing from one day to the next, as we've just seen over the pensioners. So to that extent, I hate her for a number of reasons. One, I was 11 plus failure, and look, I've all had no confidence in myself, right? I've been going around feeling funny. What happened to me? I wasn't as good as the others. But you know, the other damn thing that upset me is this woman, this character. It's not she's doing all this to the pensioners, to the students, to all those people. She now expresses a particular desire. She wants to kill Freddie the Fox. And she voted against them when it was fox hunting. She's changed her mind. But not only that she wants to kill it, she wants to rip the hand off, the leg off, and she's got a lovely bushy tail. So I think she's after that. Probably to put on her dress, but leaving that aside. So it's the viciousness of it, right? The attack on our people. Of course it's a laugh about Freddie the Fox. But I tell you what, it's her attitude. And she's had to come out specially and say, now look at him, look at that. What a bush, eh? You wouldn't get rid of that. So this is a woman that's not fit to be Prime Minister. The man has shown integrity and honesty. We've won the ballot. We've won the policy argument as well. And that's as much to do with this man who's took more stick from everybody, who has the character to become leader. So don't start doubting who's got leadership qualities. It's this man, and he is. And is he going to be the next Prime Minister after this woman? Come on, it's an election. Is he going to be the next Prime Minister? Yes!